Say it right now. I don't think Starfield is a bad game. I don't buy the negativity surrounding it, and you may be entitled to your opinion, but I think Starfield sets the foundation for what is going to come in the future. This game is going to be talked about 10 years later, mark my words, and I will repeat it at the end of my video. This video is a little unscripted. It's me telling you my honest thoughts about what I think about this game, and honestly, I'm just giving my thoughts because there's so many people out there giving their thoughts. I thought, why not add in my own opinion as well? And for those of you that will then say, oh, you're just defending Bethesda or anything like that, I will just say I didn't receive any review copies from Bethesda. This is just me experiencing the game on my own, and quite frankly, I don't think Bethesda would have cared about the size of my channel because I'm too small at this minute. You know, I'm around 2,000 subscribers, right? Do you think they would really care? Not really. I am making this video because I'm enjoying the game. I've been waiting for this game for quite some while, and quite frankly, I've had a good experience with it. And I do understand all the criticisms, and I will address it in this video. I will go and basically say that yes, this is wrong. Yes, they need to go back to the drawing board. Yes, they do it. But I will also say, look at what they've done good. Look at what they tried to make. So I do think that this game is being watched not just by fans, but by everybody in the video games industry. Everybody that wants to see this game succeed. You know, even the ones that have negative reactions about this game also want this game to succeed as well. And I think that definitely needs to be acknowledged as well. Because at the end of the day, if this video game satisfied everybody, I don't think anybody would have a complaint. That's pretty much clear. If this video game was made for everybody, no one would have a complaint. On the other hand, it wants to be a space simulator. So my video is going to talk about that. I'm going to be giving you my reasons as to why I think I'm not going to buy the negativity surrounding it. And maybe your opinion might change at the end of this video. Let's get started with this video. And I would definitely say that the inventory system is not good. The map system, I don't know what they were thinking. They need to and about the map system, I think they need to go back to the drawing board. I think they need to definitely redo some areas of the game. But at the same time, this is not a nitpick because mods can fix everything. Now I know what people would say, that why are you relying on mods to save a game? Well, in this day and age, video games do cost a lot of money, and you can definitely point out the argument that just because Starfield had like $500 million or whatever, that doesn't mean that they should just cut corners and they haven't done enough testing for their PC ports, etc. And I agree with that. I agree. When Larian Studios released Baldur's Gate 3, they also did fantastic work. They made sure that their game was on point and they delivered, right? But games like these, even Starfield, they take a long time to make. I don't care if it's a AAA developer or a AA developer or an indie developer. The amount of work and hard work that is put into these games, regardless of whatever it may be, a small studio or indie studio or something else, there is a huge amount of work that is being put here. The amount of work that was thought into designing the cities, designing everything, I think that has to be appreciated. Now, of course, people will say that, oh, it's just a Bethesda game, it's not going to be that great, it's just going to have a few worlds, and that's all it's going to be. But when I was playing through the first opening scenes, I did a lot of NPC dialogue. I was like clicking the buttons, and I was trying to see what extra dialogue I could get out of them. Remarkably, I got a lot of interesting dialogue about the world, about what Constellation is, about what mining is, of how the threats they have to deal with the pirates, and how this world is basically more or less, there are big, rich overlords ruling this world. And there are people at the bottom that starve, there are people at the bottom that suffer, there are also people that are benefiting, there is such a stark contrast that I felt definitely way more immersed in this world, and I've barely even started. Yes, this game I don't think was designed in mind to have, let's say, 15-20 worlds with huge amounts of NPCs and distant worlds or whatever. I don't think it was designed for that. Because when you look at it, how are you going to realistically simulate 1,000 worlds, which I just find a bit, over the top, I would say. That 1,000 worlds is going to be a lot of memory. 1,000 worlds would be, exploring all of them handcrafted would be a bit difficult to design. Now, if you had 5 to 10 worlds that were similar to what the Outer Worlds achieved in terms of going to each and every planet and exploring that city, let's say if it was a smaller world had enough content for you to be interested in, why shouldn't Starfield have something like that? Definitely think that Starfield as a game can reap good rewards. Now, I'm not going to tell you here that you should enjoy Starfield in the way that I want. No, you play the game, and if you feel this game is not good at all, then you have the right to say it. Obviously, every person's experience of Starfield is going to be different. I just want to bring some centrality here, some sort of in the center, because right now gaming is divided in such a way that you are either in this camp or you are not in this camp. If you don't enjoy this game, you don't like it. But if you criticize this game, you're suddenly part of this whole let's critique everything to heaven high and hell. And I'm also in agreement with the fact that the planets that you have to explore are not really explorable. There are visible restrictions on them. You can't run from point A to point B. Basically, you can only run an empty rock, an empty field of rock and stone, and that's about it. And that is something that I think needs to change. I definitely think that they need to bring something better to the table. If you go to a planet, it shouldn't feature the same NPC or same camp or same outpost. If you go to a planet, it should have a mining colony, a city, a neon city, perhaps a variation of New Atlantis, perhaps something to do with the outer world, perhaps NPCs to interact with. At least planets, if you can't explore 1,000 planets, and if you can't do all of it in one go, then maybe have 10 to 20 planets. That otherwise it will become boring. It will make the players feel like, then what are we doing? Right? There should be space dungeons. There has to be something that allows that player to basically make himself more. At the same time, I am not affected by a character's identity because it's sci-fi, okay? And in sci-fi, in space, in the future, you will have 10 different identities with 10 different characters, and you will have a complete overhaul of what life is. It's the evolution of what humanity is supposed to be, but it's also the downgrade of humanity. Because while you explore space, you also fall prey to the same inhibitions that inhibit the human race. That is our greed, our desire, and why we get envious when we go and see someone else that does something better than us. Right? It's an underlying thing. Whether it be in Star Trek, whether it be in Star Wars, we want something that someone doesn't have. And that's why I think Starfield is, in a way. You build up your ship, you go and craft your spaceship, you go on different missions, and you explore what you want to become. You become something that you weren't before. You have become something else. Starfield has an amazing opening sequence. There's a ton of references to The Expanse. I mean, The Expanse was a fantastic TV show, and I really love that they went into that aspect as well. There's this idea, of course, that Starfield is a game where the hardcore realism, that is the hardcore realism of the sci-fi setting, can be a bit boring because you're not really exploring planets of wild species, of alien humanoids. You're not really going into worlds where Starfield in a way also is immersive if given the right amount of time and the right amount of immersion. But Starfield is also not immersive in the way that you could have two extremes. One extreme is that plenty of portions of the world doesn't feel that immersive. Plenty of other portions may feel immersive. Now, whether that is down to NPCs, their facial animations, whether that is down to facial animations or cutscenes or NPCs randomly entering cutscenes, which I really do not like, I really do think that needs some changing as well. But Starfield does allow you to navigate through space. You can pretty much do plenty of fast traveling, which ironically is an advantage, but also a disadvantage at the same time. I would definitely say that Starfield is a game where I am really enjoying my time. I'm definitely enjoying looking around the world and seeing all these beautiful new planets. I definitely like the new graphical upgrades regarding to spaceship, regarding to pretty much everything except the facial animations. I think they need work, and I would definitely update NPC models. They should definitely update NPC player reactions, especially when you are in cities and you do a I definitely think that needs work as well. Also, I think that players need to give the story a bit more of a chance. Need to make sure that at least they are invested rather than just getting bored by heavy sci-fi realism dialogue. Because either way, I think the story is quite immersive, and if you love the sci-fi genre, you may have a more better appreciation of for what it is. Because sci-fi is a concept that if you read a lot of sci-fi novels, they can either be really hard to understand or they can be really easy to understand. Now think of either Dune or Foundation. There are plenty of people that like it, but also plenty of people that may not understand it. So Starfield may be in that category. It's a bit of balancing act. On the one hand, it will overload you with a lot of information. On the other hand, it will not overload you with that information at the same time, in which then you have to figure out, right? And they really do need to fix the maps when exploring cities. I am a bit shocked that the 4 main cities in this game don't have their own style of maps that you can have a look at and you can go and navigate. This is something that I think was either a cut feature or that they need to bring it back. They really do need to bring some new features in. They really do need to add in more content, more DLC. This game is crying out for it. That's what it needs. And I really do think that this game is going to become better in the future. The mods will definitely enhance and improve it. And I definitely think there is a bright future ahead for Starfield. As much as all the people are saying that, oh, this game is bad, don't spend your money, don't do this, don't give these people here. Look at the future of what Starfield is going to be. Lots of content, mods, free updates, DLCs, story expansions. There's going to be a lot of that in the future. Also, yes, they will try and resell this game 50 times, and I don't think I will mind, because Skyrim has been sold 50 and 100 gazillion times as well. People still buy it. Right? So what's the difference then? Is Starfield really that bad of a game? Just because it doesn't fulfill what an open world game should have? I would say it's nearly around 65% complete with the open world. There's remaining maybe 95% that needs to be filled in. That's it. And maybe if people want a more open, diverse sci-fi world where you can go to plenty of planets and hunt beasts and hunt and craft and do all of that, then basically let me give you my reasons as to why I think this game is very similar to The Outer Worlds and what it can borrow from The Outer Worlds in terms of inspiration. You can just instantly see from the trailer itself that every part of this world had unique colors, unique designs, and it had a question saying that, do you want to be a hero, a psychopath? And any NPC that you met, you had dialogue choices, and you could literally change the fate of most of the decisions made within this vast world. And of course, The Outer Worlds was a small, large world. It wasn't a big one. And also the fact that this was made by Obsidian Entertainment means that it was done really, really good. And I'm not saying that Bethesda isn't great. Bethesda is great. Obsidian is great. And RPGs are meant to immerse you in the game. And they're meant to immerse you in beautiful graphical environments, especially such as these space games. You can obviously see that this is where I would want to take inspiration from, because The Outer Worlds had beasts, NPCs, dialogue choices, and so much more. Now, of course, you couldn't control the ship or do whatever, but of course, everything goes that way. We need to achieve a mix here. Starfield is no doubt going to be a great game within a couple of years, and Starfield right now is still a really, really good game on launch. Overall, there's plenty to be excited about Starfield's future, plenty of mods to come out, plenty of content to be added in, plenty of things need to be redesigned, and I'm enjoying the game as much as I am able to. I'm really enjoying it. I really think this game is quite decent. It's quite a good game, and if you will disagree with me, please feel free to. You know what, let's start the discussion. Let's have this conversation is this game good? Is this game just a typical Bethesda, buggy mess? Or is this game something else to you? I'd be more than happy to take your opinion, whether it be positive or negative. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to get a discussion going as to what are the positives of Starfield, and maybe sometimes we overhype ourselves with too much negativity. That's my honest opinion. Maybe it's trying to be a little bit positive when it comes to video games like this. Maybe it's trying to be a bit positive in terms of Starfield. I think there's way more to be said about this game, and it's going to be a game that will define generations for future. I have no doubt that this game is not going to flop. It's not going to become a disaster in any way possible, because it's still going to be talked about 10 years later. Mark my word. Don't forget to leave a like, share, comment and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.